Okay, fight fans and fight fiends, welcome back to Manny's Thoughts. I, of course, Manny MTL or Manny Montreal. Make sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and of course, thefightcity.com. As usual, I'll give you guys my thoughts on what's going down in the world of combat sports. Let's get started. Welcome back, Fight Fiends, and to those of you that are new, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can find out when I put up new videos. This video is Manny's Thoughts, and I do one of these every week. It's real simple. I congratulate and highlight a few of last week's winners. We talk about current news and events, and then, last but not least, we talk about what fights we should be watching this weekend. I do this every week, so make sure you stay tuned for more. Now on with the show. First up, congratulations are due. Congratulations to the Groupe Yvon Michel having another great night at the Casino de Montreal. A really quick and early night, not too many fights and a lot of knockouts. So I gotta run through these real quick because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Congratulations, Terry Osias, Yann Pellerin, Christian Mbili, Louis-Hubert Altidore, Oscar Kaboom Rivas, and the returning Jamaican juggernaut Shaquille Finn. Also, quick congratulations over the weekend in Nova Scotia, Adam Danger Ayubi, still undefeated, successful in his fight. Congratulations, keep an eye out for that young man. A bunch of quick congratulations should go out to Connor Ben, Amir Khan, Heather the Heat Hardy, still the undefeated queen of boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis, and last but not least for a terrific KO, Jermell Charlo. So as far as what's going down in the Fight City and on thefightcity.com, great articles and posts on the daily for you guys to check out. Fresh stuff on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, so make sure you follow along with thefightcity.com. As far as what's going down in the actual Fight City, Montreal, lots of news to talk about, but first we'll cover a couple worldly events. Keith One-Time Thurman has dropped his strap for the WBC belt. Although he's out with a hand injury for a while, he still retains the WBA belt, so that's pretty interesting. Also, just announced, King Kong Ortiz versus Dylan White for the #1 spot versus Deontay Wilder. Honestly, if the Joshua fight doesn't happen, that's some terrific news. I'm looking forward to that fight. It's a solid fight for both guys. As far as a little closer to home, great news. It seems like, despite the Cold War between Showtime and HBO, Groupe Yvon Michel was successful in getting Eleider Alvarez a title fight, finally. Not with who you think. Well, he stepped aside from Adonis Stevenson for the last time. He is now no longer the #1 mandatory for the WBC, but will be facing Sergey Kovalev for his titles. Fantastic stuff. Main Events was in a bit of a bind, and they reached out to Groupe Yvon Michel, which more than made their day. And honestly, it's some terrific news all the way around. The only thing that would make this better is, for some reason, Madison Square Garden was busy, and the fight would actually happen here. That being said, I really don't mind, because I know Kovalev has a big crowd in Madison Square Garden, and it'd be really cool to put some money together and go support him out in New York anyway. That being said, speaking of supporting fighters, Adonis Stevenson has pulled the rug out from everyone again. Having claimed that the fight happening in Montreal was fake news about a month ago, it seems like, well, he was right. The fight's happening in Toronto. Press conference actually went down today. Not entirely sure how many people showed up to it, but it is what it is. I'm a little disappointed for several reasons. I really don't think that this is a wise move on Adonis's part. I personally feel, and I've been saying, that I feel like TMT is going to be railroading him. He does have a rematch clause should he lose his title, but nonetheless, I have a feeling something wonky is going to happen, and Toronto having issues with its commission and same-day weight and other things that I've pointed out. For some reason, I feel like the mixture is right for something shocking to happen to Adonis Stevenson. Badou Jack was 188, 30 days out, and Adonis was 184. Badou, in the face-off with him, the first face-off, looked a lot bigger than Adonis Stevenson. That being said, it's also the first boxer since, I don't remember when, maybe 2013? Yeah, I'd say that a real boxer, somebody that has, game plans and combinations and can be a tricky fighter, not, these guys with a lot of heart, like Fanfara, which I do enjoy, and I'm not trying to say he's not a good fighter, but he is a B-class fighter, and Badujak could make the claim to being an A-class fighter. So, the other thing is Badujak definitely has a larger budget to deal with, though. So training partners and just general expenses and having healthy and good things around you are very easy for Badujak, whereas in most of Adonis's opponents, train people on the weekends in order to get by. So that being said, I think the mixture is right. Something shocking might just happen. Yours truly won't be going. 3 weeks is too short notice for me. It's part of the big reason why I'm pissed off about this. I can't pull it off, even if I, tried something weird. I can't, and it's not worth it, to be honest. I don't want to be mean to the undercard, but the undercard's taking a shaft as it is. Having to make same-day weight more than likely, and also having to incur travel expenses now. It's a very selfish move on Adonis Stevenson's part, but it is what it is. I'm really disappointed, but what the hell are you going to do? As far as what we can watch this weekend, Friday the 27th, Real Deal Sports in Louisville, Kentucky. Felix Diaz versus Francisco Santana. It's a solid welterweight fight. There's 6 welterweight fights on that card. A bunch of undefeated fighters. Also going down in Ontario, California for the WBO, NABO welterweight strap. You'll see why I think this is important, because we got a couple interesting welterweights here in Montreal. Thompson Boxing, Giovanni Santihan versus Alejandro Barboza. It's a really, really good fight. 23-0 versus 11-1. Make sure to tune in Friday. There isn't too much else Friday night. Saturday, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Going down in Bilbao, Spain. So roughly around 2:30, 3 p.m. It is going to be on Box Nation. Solid fight. Kerman Latangraga, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, versus Bradley Skeet. I'm going to try and say that without making jokes. Kerman is 26 years old, 24-0. Skeet is 27-1. It's a solid fight. It's a really interesting fight. Again, another weight class that could be interesting for some local fighters here in Montreal. I got a video coming out real soon. It's my top 5 for Showtime and my top 6 for HBO. A bunch of fighters here I think will be the next generation of TV fighters. So make sure to tune in for that in the upcoming weeks. That being said, going down at 4 p.m. in Germany and England, there is also some more boxing you guys can tune into. A little closer to home, in Edmonton, Alberta, KO Boxing is back in action. A big card. I'm really looking forward to this one. Helena Mendronovic, I really hope I said her name right. I always mess it up. It doesn't matter. She is the queen of Canadian boxing. The WBA and WBC strap is on the line versus Stephanie Ducassel. It's a rematch. It's a great fight. It's definitely something to tune into. But if that's not enough for you, Adam Braywood's final fight before his face-off with Simon Keane. Fingers crossed and everything goes the boogeyman's way. It's a solid fight. Every opponent out there is dangerous, and heavyweights are definitely not the exception, so make sure to tune in. Last but not least, a little Montreal connection. Arthur Ziadzinov, 4-0, light heavyweight. I'm big on this kid. I am gushing all over him. You guys should too. If you're out in Edmonton, Alberta for some boxing and you want to see a future star, go watch this kid box and get back at me. You'll see what the hell I'm talking about. That being said, Saturday night is a busy night. We got more to talk about. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Bellator 198, Fedor versus Mir. If you're into some old school MMA without all the drama of the UFC, Bellator 198. Going down in Philly, ESPN and Top Rank, Jesse Maldonado versus Isaac Dogbo. Also on that card, Jesse Hart, Desmond Nicholson, Brian Jennings versus Joey Dawejko. That is a heavy-duty heavyweight fight. Also on that card, Shakur Stevenson, a young star in the making. The WBO Super Bantamweight titles on the line between Maldonado and Dogbo. It's a really solid fight. Two undefeated fighters. Something to tune into. Also going down on Fox, PBC on Fox from Texas, Josecito Lopez versus Miguel Cruz. Also in action, Anthony Durrell and Erickson Lubin, the returning Erickson Lubin. Last but not least, on HBO Boxing, great night of fights. On the undercard, Jermell Miller versus Duhaupas. If you remember Duhaupas, he's the Frenchman that gave Wilder a pretty solid fight. I'm looking for Jermell Miller to improve to 21-0. He is definitely a contender for the heavyweight crown. I'm looking forward to his rising. Also on that card, IBF champion Katie Taylor is going to be in action. Whatever it is, it's going to be a solid display, so make sure to tune in and watch her do her thing. And the main event of the night, Danny Jacobs versus Zulecki. Zulecki is 26-0. I know you never heard of him, but that's okay. The guy deserves this shot against Danny Jacobs, and anything Danny Jacobs headlines, I will support. He is that kind of fighter and definitely deserves it. Guys, that is it for me this week. It was a truckload of news. Again, I'm disappointed in Adonis Stevenson. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Go to my Patreon page if you want to support. There isn't many of you on there, and I wish there was more. Things would be a lot easier if there was. I'll see you guys next week.